What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to create this video because, for all those people out there that are struggling with chronic illnesses that really haven't been understood, diagnosed with many multiple things, with no real conclusion where you feel comfortable with okay, this is what I have, this is what I need to do. And for me, it's kind of been like that for the last, I'd say, 7 or 8 years. But I would also even say my whole life, kind of looking back, noticing the effort needed to exist, essentially. Now, not knowing that at the time, but knowing that looking back, it's very easy to, I almost don't even want to say gaslight yourself. And what I mean by that is downplay your experience as a child and growing up, and downplaying your experiences and trying to be like, oh, that was nothing, or you're making a big deal of something that's not, and essentially gaslighting yourself. And anyhow, the real reason why I wanted to make this video is just to oppose a theory for myself. Of course, I can't pose a theory for you, but I would love to hear what you think has caused your chronic illness and what continues to keep it going. So for me, I've been diagnosed with multiple mental issues, major recurrent depression, ADHD, borderline hypomaniac, which I don't really resonate with anymore due to getting fibromyalgia, which was a blanket statement basically saying, we've looked at you, we've tested things, and we just can't seem to find much wrong with you other than, you have these markers or symptoms of something called fibro. And the basic course of treatment for that is, it's not much. Medications, lifestyle choices, and just living with it, managing the fibro. Now, for the last quite a long time, I was in denial of any sort of thing, and I always had this belief that I could just outwork it, and it was just a temporary thing. However, 5-6 years have passed now where I have had this, and the symptoms had gotten worse and worse and worse, that I know it's not really here to just, in a snap of a finger, go away. However, through continuing to learn about ways of managing my life and so that it doesn't define me, because unfortunately my mental and physical issues still define me. They still run the gamut of my life. They make me cope in certain ways that have addictive personal traits, to have a sense of control, which I'm sure anyone with a chronic illness to some degree might find themselves in a kind of OCD format of something that they feel like they can control. For me, that was food, and it led down to a path of an eating disorder. But also just this ever-pervading melancholic way of seeing, this learned helplessness, if you will, victimization, and trying to be hopeful, trying to get over life, but really struggling to do so. Anyways, I'm kind of beating around the bush of what I was really here to say, and that was that my theory of getting all these things and having all these things was that essentially I was, from a very, I guess, objective point of view, although subjective in the sense that I was feeling like I was a victim, I was under threat, something was wrong, the world is weird, it's chaotic, it just doesn't make sense to me, I can't find my place in this world. And then kind of looking at everything from a sort of negative lens, it just set off this continuous chronic stress response to the point where and I'm working on this, I'm just always stressed. because of the pain that I feel, because of the mental confusion, purposelessness, usefulnessless, not just feeling like a human being that's a part of anything. I isolate. I don't see people. I don't really have any friends. I don't have family. I don't have anything to care for. The thought of caring for something is exhausting because I can barely take care of myself. And so, you're really left with, despair and continued stress, and that stress response just continues down the line. And I can honestly say I feel pretty strongly about this at this moment, is that I am the way I am now versus where I was before, which was, if anyone knows me, I was very robust, fitness person sort of thing, very much in the world, doing the best that I could to be of service. And now I'm just trying to be of service to some small degree and still trying to survive. Unfortunately, that's the state that I'm in now, is survival mode, not thriving. And yeah, I think ultimately it's this objective state of constant chronic stress that has imposed, illness and disease in my body and dis-ease. And it's insurmountable. And also some of the ways in which I've afflicted so much physical trauma on my body as well, through just, negating the fact that this thing is breakable, and it's repairable for sure, but it's breakable too. And I think when you don't allow recovery properly, you end up with some big issues. And I think for me, I didn't know how to change gears, shift gears down. I didn't know how to relax. Relaxing was not a part of my life. It never was. Now I struggle with how to relax. I have a really hard time with it. I do smoke weed every day to try to, calm that down. Again, I know there's tons of supplements out there. I do lots of things to try to help myself, but ultimately it's this stress response that and finding a way to live that allows me to be in a state of our parasympathetic nervous system, which is just to rest and digest and heal and recover and be able to sleep well and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, chronic stress, man. Chronic stress ultimately transforming itself into dis-ease in the body, because that's its program. If you're constantly in that state, your body can't repair and recover and replenish itself. And so it breaks down one little piece at a time. And sometimes those little pieces add up, and then boom, you're just smashed with this maybe grave illness. Maybe it's a cancer tumor. I don't know, whatever it is. And I think these things they're the effects of some sort of causes, and ultimately, from what I know right now, and I'm sure I'll continue to learn and expand on this, is just it's the chronic state of cortisol dripping in my veins that constantly makes me not be able to be present and in a state of fear. And it's sad, and I'm trying to do my best to, move out of that mindset, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It's very not easy, and everyone's situation is different. And I'd love to know more about people's situations and how they see where they might be stuck, and how they perceive and dream of a way in which they would be better. Because they're inside all that, there's a way out of it in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's complete remission. Maybe it's 90% remission. Whatever it is, I think once we can get off the constant state of our issues and not see them so negatively and stressfully, and we can just enjoy life a little bit more and relax into it and feel supported and taken care of, man, I think it could be a game changer. So, anyways, thanks for listening if you did, and much love.